let's get back to cars. You've consistently raised the idea that each major car company should have a chief medical officer, not focused on their employees, but on their customers. Make a case for why a car company needs a CMO, in this case, medical officer.
Yeah, look, to me, it's funny. Years ago, GM used to actually have a big medical advisory board with some big names, and things have changed. We have to meet with the consumer where they are, and for them, they're driving the purchase decisions. We're talking about we want people to adopt electric vehicles. We want people to adopt autonomous vehicles. And the question is, what's the thinking behind the decisions that are being made? Is it being made by a legal person? Is it being made by an engineering person? Is it being made by a physician? Is it being made by a team that consists of multiple perspectives so that they're doing the best for you? So I see the thing that's missing is the chief medical officer. And again, not focused on the employees, but on you, the consumer, who I want to have a relationship with for your entire lifespan. It would actually add another voice to the table that gives different perspective. Number two is completely change your relationship with the consumers, with the policymakers, and with the media. It would really be a differentiator in the market. And, we started something called Siren Network. So it was engineers and physicians together looking at car crashes. And I remember very well one of the engineers turning to me saying, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'm seeing things very differently now. That's a dialogue that has to continue to exist. When I started out in my journey trying to learn more about car crashes, I went and met with engineers. And what I found was they knew a lot about dummies. They didn't know much about people. And I'll give you the greatest example of that. We were up in Canada, and we were looking at how much pressure or compression you can have on the chest. And they said, anything over 2 intrusion, let's say, with from the seatbelt over 2 inches will kill you. Well, the same day, the American Heart Association came out and said, if you're going to do proper CPR, got to go at least 2 inches.
Huh.
So, to me, let's get everybody around the table. Let's have that relationship. And then I always think about poor Mary Barra. Here she was trying to defend a decision made by an engineer, and behind her are a bunch of engineers and lawyers. What if there was a bunch of physicians behind her too, who were advising her and giving her perspective? So that is a missing component of the car companies. The tech companies have chief medical officers that are focused on their consumers. Apple's moving to become much more of a health company for you, right? Amazon's getting into it. So the car companies have this huge opportunity, and it's about transforming and being innovative. Look, we can go back when the cars were all mechanical and we started seeing electronics coming in. There was a big pushback. You don't understand cars. If you talk about doing a patch to software, it drive people crazy, right? So remember when Scott McNeely said that cars someday will be computers on wheels, and they laughed him out of town. So turns out now we can't build cars because we don't have enough chips. So sometimes you got to look down the road and say, how do I position myself now to be in the leadership role and be first in the market to do that? And I will tell you, that is a missing opportunity to have around the table with the executive team, a chief medical officers out there looking at crashes, talking to the public, pregnant women, older people, adding those views in from the medical perspective. It's not to replace anybody, it's an added perspective, and it's missing.
And it would transform the culture of the company, as you allude to. It would be a major shift from an engineering-focused industry to something where the consumer truly comes first.